Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. It's the final hour of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, this Tuesday edition. Glad to have you with us on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. You may join in the proceedings, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. If you'd like to call in, turn a monologue into a dialogue, always good to do that. You can also hit us up on the Super Text line. Find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. Obviously, we're on our own app, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Carry us wherever you go. You can also find us on Talk TV. For you masochists and the listening audience that want to see these proceedings happen while you hear them, go over to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or Rumble, and just type in the old Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and there you go. Be sure to like, subscribe, give us the old thumbs up if you so desire. It will cost you, what will it cost them? I don't think it'll cost you anything. I don't think it'll cost that. I think Ken Weaver, if he were listening, would tell you that it costs
absolutely nothing, boys.
You got to give a yes.
Yes.
That's not bad, Jackson.
I do a decent Ken Weaver.
I'd agree with that. I think that's fair. That's fair.
I do a good Matt Murphy, too.
Let's hear it.
Wah, 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 wah.
It's exactly what you're listening to during the show. If not something else. I have great suspicions that Jackson is watching something else during this show. By the way, have you figured out what my punishment's going to be yet?
Yeah, you're watching Jack and Jill, along with another movie I will select.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
Yeah, it's an Adam Sandler movie, and it's horrific.
Jack came down and Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. I think that's right. Jack and Jill, Adam Sandler movie? I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. Is it bad? It's a punishment for a reason, I guess.
Al Pacino is in it.
Oh, well, it can't be all bad.
You want to know what its Rotten Tomatoes is, where it's sitting?
No, I don't. No, what is it?
3%.
3%? That's how bad it is?
Yeah. Out of 100.
Oh. So I have to watch.
It's Adam Sandler cross-dressing for 90 minutes.
I have to watch A Complete Unknown and Jack and Jill.
Are you just pushing A Complete Unknown to this weekend?
I'm gonna try to get to it. I promise. I've got to get to both before the week is out. I feel like. So I'll do my dead level best. All right, Dave, we'll get back to you in a moment. Real quick, I want to clean this up too. So several have asked. The concept of businesses being involved in your health insurance came about during World War II, and I alluded to this, and I did not have some of the specific details, but here you go. The U.S. implemented a wage freeze as a measure to control wartime inflation because so many men were overseas in war. And so it was enacted through the Stabilization Act of 1942, which was passed by Congress and obviously signed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was enacted to stabilize wages and prices, and immediately Roosevelt issued an executive order freezing them at September 1942 levels. It helped create a dynamic by which it would prevent wage price spirals and allow companies to attract and retain workers despite the freeze. It allowed them to offer benefits like health insurance. So the Stabilization Act of 1942 gave the president the authority to do this. The freeze applied to all forms of remuneration, including salary, wage, bonuses, commissions, and gifts. There were some exemptions, most notably for insurance and pension benefits that could be offered in a, quote, reasonable amount. Because companies could not offer higher pay, they began to offer non-wage benefits like health insurance to attract and retain workers, which has sadly now become something of an expectation. So now we pick up our health insurance when we go to work, and if we get fired or we leave a job, we lose those health insurance coverages and benefits. So we have to pick them back up at our new place of employment, which is not the way we should be doing it at all. But that's the way we do it. And it's part of the big insurance problem that we have in the United States of America, as we've been discussing throughout the course of the day. Now, before I get back to Dave and get too far away from it, I'm curious if you feel the same way that I do, that Donald Trump has not had that good of a week. I love my president. I love 47. I appreciate what he does for this country. I appreciate what he's doing for this country. It goes without saying that I'm a supporter of Trump. But I don't agree with him all the time. I don't agree with anyone all the time. And let me tell you, I would have said he hit the trifecta, but he added one today. $2,000. So let me just give you the list, and you can call in and tell me which ones you agree with, which ones you disagree with, and maybe you disagree with me that I shouldn't be chiding the president for suggesting these types of programs, big government programs. Number one, pardons. We should not be pardoning Glenn Cassida. We should not be pardoning Cade Cothran. They were guilty as the damn day is long. They knew exactly what they were doing. And I have done enough research in the last week and a half to understand that. And I wasn't even here during the time. By all accounts, Cothran was, well, without getting too much into the seedy, nasty details of all that they did at the state capitol, suffice it to say they were guilty. They were found guilty by a jury of their peers, and a pardon of these two is just ridiculous. So the pardons, I disagree with. I think we're going crazy with the pardons. We're just going crazy with the pardons. Number two, stimulus checks. No. The government does not need to hand out $2,000 stimulus checks to the American people while we are $38 trillion in debt. Enough said. 3, 50-year mortgage? No. The last thing we need to do is extend renting from the bank, which is what a 50-year mortgage would be. Number 4, this is the latest. 600,000 more Chinese students. And I have the clip from Donald Trump's interview with Laura Ingraham last night. It was not good, by the way. And I love the man, but I don't know what the impetus behind this is. But he says, "Oh, we need 600,000. We need these immigrants. They prop up the universities. To hell with the universities." I'll play the clip for you in just a minute. All right, Dave. Thank you for your patience.
You're all right. Hey, if you don't want your 2,000, I'll take yours.
I bet you would.
I'm just messing.
I bet. No, well, that's the whole thing. I mean, if I get a check, I mean, I'm not going to turn it down, right?
Right.
That's the sad thing is that if I got a $2,000 check, I'd spend it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But at the same time, I saw that and I said, well, I could use $2,000. That'd be all right. But going back to the healthcare thing, you're right. That's how businesses got introduced into the whole healthcare ecosystem or economic system there, right? Problem is that that was really that was all based on what's Kaiser Shipping or whatever. They're the ones who really started managed care, and it was a model that they wanted to spread throughout the United States, and that's now Kaiser Permanente. It's a nationwide hospital, doctor chain, insurance, everything. But didn't really catch on. Most people did have indemnity insurance or hospitalization plans. You were still, what we removed was the consumer from the process. Businesses got on board with it in the late 70s into the 80s. That's where you really saw managed care take off because businesses it was a tax benefit for them to do it. And it was only like 200 or more employee operations that did it because that's where the math worked. So what happened then? You go back, how do you get the AMA was behind it, hospital associations were behind it because it was increasing the volume, patient volume for the providers, right? So they're willing to take capitated payments, like per payment, per visit or whatever else, but your volume increases. What has happened since? Have you driven by a hospital in the past 10, 15, 20 years that hasn't had a construction project going on?
No.
They're all over the place,
Not
right?
to my memory.
So, I mean, I don't want to use the word fiddlesticks, but we got a fiddlesticks problem. We've created a 900-pound gorilla in the economy. Everybody wants to point to one or the other, right? Oh, it's the drug companies. Oh, it's the doctors. Oh, it's the insurance companies. We have fully, probably a quarter or so of our economy is healthcare. I mean, that's it. I don't know how you untangle it now because everybody, all right, so let's go back to where everybody's got to have skin in the game, right? Well, then maybe your patient volumes drop. Maybe some of these big construction projects going on down at the local hospital don't go on. Well, those people are out of a job, and it just ripples throughout the economy. I disagree. I 100% agree with you. I think it was a mistake. But I think we've kind of passed that point of no return where it's such a huge chunk of the economy. How do you unwind that?
Well, that's the big question.
I'm not even talking about Obamacare.
Just do it.
Now that was a pig in a poke.
Just do it.
And the reason the doctors were behind it and drug companies, everything else, is the same reason. All it's doing is taking big chunks of government funding, shifting it into that sector, and propping it up. But here's the thing: you pull that out from under it, it collapses. What do you have on your hands then?
Yeah. What is healthcare? It's almost a fifth of the nationwide economy, right? It's 17%.
Yeah, I mean, my numbers are probably out of date. I mean, I was thinking
17%.
Last time I looked at it, it's a big chunk.
It's huge. I agree that you're not going to turn this ship around. And I don't believe, and sadly, Dave, I don't believe you're ever going to turn it around, because in order to do so, you would have to convince the vast majority of the American, not just the simple majority, because I promise you the emotional howling would take precedent over rational, reasoned, common sense approach to this. But you would have to have the vast majority of people say, no, we don't want freebies from the government anymore, because we recognize that that's going to eventually be the ruination of our system of government. America will crumble as a result of our burdensome debt, and most of that debt is going to be added to because of the medical insurance industry, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and interest payments on our debt.
Well, and I got another curveball for you, because I'm a glass half full kind of guy. You can also see a benefit in this. We have in the world's best healthcare in terms of innovation, in terms of all the stuff we deliver, all the new drugs, all the new treatments, and everything else. That's an offshoot of that money being funneled into the system. Europe really relies on our innovation. All the rest of the world does. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. But,
it's a good. It's a good call. Thank you for holding. I appreciate you doing so. Thank you, Dave, for the sentiment. I don't know that I have an answer either, because I do not believe that enough Americans would recognize the long-term devastation that's going to be created by our insistence that we continue to be allowed to drink from the government spigot. And I expect 15 years from now that we will further have government-run health care. I don't think the Republicans have the cojones to hold the line on it. I mean, think about this. Brett Baer said this pretty well. Not Brett Baer. Brit Hume said this pretty well. That, well, I'll play it for you. Bret Hume was on Fox News, I guess last night, talking about the end of the shutdown. And listen to Brit Hume discussing the dynamics of what the Democrats want, what they wanted, and what they were unable to get.
If we cannot, as a nation, decide not to continue a subsidy that was imposed or was enacted during a national health emergency and was designed to be temporary, and that all the Democrats voted to have be temporary, if we can't let that expire, what hope do we ever have of getting government spending under control?
I mean, it is 100% accurate that the government subsidy in question was enacted not at the beginning of Obamacare, which has been a failure. It was enacted during COVID-19 at a time where we were spending money hand over fist with no questions asked. Part of the reason that so many illegal aliens have gotten on Obamacare was because of the government subsidy and the no questions asked approach to getting people medical coverage and medical care during COVID-19. We didn't know what the hell was going on. And those that did know what was going on were trying to take advantage of us and it. So you had an emergency authorization approved during a time of a national emergency, COVID-19. And now that emergency authorization is over because the national emergency is over, and we can't even stop paying for that without the Democrats howling and screaming? Can you imagine what we would hear if my suggestions were taken into account? I want to eliminate all government funding of health insurance, all government funding of health care. The government should not be your health care provider, nor should it pay through my tax dollars for your health benefits. It is insanity run amok. And sadly, there are far too many people that are slurping from the government spigot. And they have no intention of stopping. And they don't care because it's not their money, it's yours. 22 after the hour, more calls on the way. Plus, 3180's mad at me. Several others are too. Quote, there's nothing wrong with making suggestions. Why would you say our president has had a bad week? Because I think our president has had a bad week. I mean, the Congress had a pretty good week. The Democrats folded. The president, not so much. 4 bad suggestions in a row. No offense to President Trump. Love President Trump. But pardons, way too many pardons. Stimulus checks, no thank you. 50-year mortgages, no thank you. 600,000 Chinese nationals coming into the United States of America as students, no thank you. You know, he'll have a better week next week. Not everything you throw against the wall isn't going to stick. It's 23 after the hour on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 0108 says they're a negotiating tool. They are a negotiating tool, meaning the Chinese students. They're meant to bring more income into the government to offset taxes to be able to lower them. And if you bring your factories or businesses back to the U.S., then you have no tariffs. There are no tariffs in goods or businesses that are produced or based in the U.S. It's meant to make it where we're more self-efficient, self-sufficient, help balance the trade deficits, yada, yada, yada. I do not believe in importing human beings into the United States of America for the purpose of trade negotiations. And you're talking to a guy who has given Donald Trump carte blanche on other methods by which he negotiates trade. Just listen to him last night on Laura Ingraham. This is Donald Trump from last evening on Laura Ingraham talking about bringing in 600,000 Chinese. Now, once again, he's my guy. He's my president. I'm going to give him a lot of latitude, but I just don't agree with this.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities would
so
go
we're
down
dependent
the
on
tubes.
China to keep our university
China,
system going?
But I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look.
All right, I'm going to pause it for a second. Laura Ingraham is dead on. We're depending on China to keep our university system afloat? Well, then that's a problem. Secondarily, if universities can't survive without Chinese money, then they don't get to survive anymore. With all due respect to the president, I don't think he wants to say the quiet part out loud. And that is, I agree with 0108, which is the reason I read it before I played the clip. I believe that Donald Trump is attempting to use this as a negotiation tactic because they know how much China values getting their Chinese nationals into our university system. But they value that not for us. They don't give a crap about us. They use us with short-term money to get long-term gain. 1, to learn our system, and 2, to educate their people who remain loyal to China. China is our number one geopolitical foe. It's not even close. We need to stop mollycoddling China. I understand that we have to continue to trade with them. obviously, as a trading partner. But I agree with the idea of trying to do our best to eliminate the necessity to trade with them, because at some point it will turn hostile. Not militaristically necessarily, but it will be hostile. More.
I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you.
Point number 2, and I'm going to agree with Laura Ingraham again. As bad as the French are, they're better than the Chinese. The Chinese steal our intellectual property. They steal by spying our military intelligence. They take what is not theirs and they use it toward their own gain. And they aren't our buddies.
I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology with, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. People are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I think the MAGA movement is, obviously, he's the man. But don't tell me, well, I know MAGA more. I mean, most people who follow the president of the United States have no interest in importing 600,000 Chinese nationals who will not have any allegiance to the United States of America into our country. As a matter of fact, I've long called for a complete moratorium on importing anybody else into this country until we get our damn immigration system in order. And we've not done that yet. We've shut the southern border down, but we're well on our way to eliminate those that ought not to be in our country, getting them into custody and getting them back to their countries of origin. But we've got a long way to go. And Nolene is correct. When you play with snakes, you're going to get bit. And the Chinese, they're snakes. We need less Chinese ownership of land in America, less Chinese influences on our colleges and universities. They have these Chinese think tank laboratories all over our colleges and universities. They need to get out. And I'm sorry, if you can't get educated anywhere else in the world, then you don't need to be educated here. That's just the way that I feel about it. And love my man Donald Trump, but he's using this as a trade negotiation, and those two things are just separate. Don is next up on healthcare. Hey, Don.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, Don. I hope you are.
I'm not doing too bad. Sorry about being on speaker, but I'm driving, so it's the law. Can't help it. Matt, I've been sitting here listening to everything you've been saying while I was on hold, and you've been dead on, and I'm amazed that I agree with Laura Ingraham, but she was with those points as well. What I was holding on for, though, was when you guys were talking about our healthcare system. And I don't know if it's kind of too late to make another comment on that, but I recently had to go to the ER because I got thrown by a horse. I wasn't on the horse. I was holding on to the horse, but it jerked me off my feet through the air, and I landed on my shoulder, messed it up. When I went in there, they told me that, and I was just in triage, they said, oh, you're not even going to get an MRI here. We're just going to check you out, make sure that nothing else is wrong, you don't have any broken bones, and then you'll have to follow up for the MRI and with ortho and all that stuff at a later date. And I said, well, I don't want to be seen then. I can just go to an ortho guy on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's too late. You're already here. You're already being seen. I said, no. You haven't even completed triage yet. Anyway, make a long story short, they pretty much told me I wasn't going to win, that I may as well stay and get an X-ray and maybe a shot of Toradol or something, And so I did that. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't know how they justify it, but this is further evidence to me that they have screwed our healthcare system up so bad. And I was a paramedic in Detroit. I know that a lot of people use the emergency room as their family physician. Got the magic, state card that takes you everywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but Matt, I went in. I had an X-ray. I had of my neck. I had a CAT scan on my shoulder. They gave me a shot of Toradol and a sling. That was it. I never got into a room. I sat in the hallway. Never had, any further workup or anything like that.
Can I guess?
Sure.
You let me guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
$5,000.
Jackson, you want to guess?
Jackson, you hear what he got? Run it down one more time, Don. What did you receive?
I got an X-ray and a CAT scan, a shot of Toradol,
okay,
and a little sling to put my arm in.
All right, I guessed $5,000, and he laughed at me, Jackson.
$15,000.
Pretty much in the middle between you two. $9,555.
Gracious.
On top of that, I have to pay them $125 copay for my insurance copay, and that is supposed to cover all tests and everything they do while I'm in there, but yet they're billing me separate for that stupid little that sling. Another $29 that another company's billing me for the sling.
Don, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it should. I should be shocked. My jaw should be on the floor. It isn't. It does not surprise me. Thank you for your call. Jackson, should it bother me that I don't know what my shoulder replacement surgery costs?
I thought you told me last week what it cost.
I told you what it cost to me, right?
Oh.
So I don't know how I got away with this. I mean, I guess we have pretty good insurance here at the station. I mean, I know that I had to cover the cope, so I had to cover the deductible, and some of that was covered in pre-op stuff. So I haven't included the pre-op stuff, but I guess I should. I had a CAT scan that was done on my shoulder. I had an MRI, I guess, that was done on my shoulder. I paid for those. That was about $1,000 out of my pocket. So all in, out of my pocket, I'm at like $5,500.
It's not bad.
I don't think it's bad. I had a total shoulder replacement. I've got titanium. I got the Temu Chinese shoulder in my shoulder. I mean, the Chinese are listening to me right now. I'm pretty sure they're about to reprogram me, so I agree with the 600,000 Chinese nationals coming into the country and going to our universities, but whatever.
Kurt, what you're saying is you're fine with us importing 600,000 Chinese shoulders.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't I be?
But not students.
There's something wrong with our healthcare industry that I don't know what it cost me. It cost me personally $5,500. That's out of pocket. It's wrong that I don't know what it costs. And I don't. What would you guess?
12.
Oh, I think it's much more than that. I would guess 40.
Oh my God. No way. It can't be that high.
Well, maybe. I mean,
I think max 20.
Surgery, 2 surgeons, anesthesiologists, nurses, surgical center, follow-up, and
guess.
And physical therapy.
Final guess. 25.
I'm still saying 40.
$25.
All right. Well, I mean, one way or
Maybe
the other.
PT is if I could see it with PT.
But the fact is, we don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. There's nothing else in our lives that we engage in a financial way that we don't know what the cost is. If you go to buy a car, you want to know what the car is going to cost you. When you go into a health care environment, you don't care what it costs you. You just want to know what your copay is, and they want to know what your copay is. Well, that's not the cost. And you wonder why health insurance rates are through the roof. You wonder why health insurance through the roof. You wonder why we have a broken system. This is why. 615-737-9986. Before I forget about it, well, I'll tell you what, we'll have time on the other side, right? A special message to our veterans coming up in just a moment on The Murphy Show. For those who were trying to get in and unable to do so, we lock them down with only a minute or two left because we feel like it would do a disservice to you to get on board, and then we don't have enough time for you. But you call us back tomorrow. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing that we do, interacting with you on the telephone lines, interacting with you on the super text line. I appreciate you interacting with us as well. We're one big happy family. And, like one big happy family, we don't agree all the time. And I might annoy you on occasion. But that's a good thing. That's a part of it. That's what free speech is all about. We would not have free speech without those that protect it. And I want to thank a special thank you before I thank the veterans. Jackson was calling me Kurt because I was Kurt with him earlier. Okay, so some were very confused why you were calling me Kurt. And I tried to clean that up. Right, Jackson?
Yes. You were rude, ugly.
I was not rude. Just
ugly.
Direct, straightforward. Freedom of speech is what we do on a day-to-day basis, and we would not have it without our veterans. God bless each and every one of you. I am honored to know you. I am honored to speak with you. I am honored to be able to commune with you and have conversation with you on a day-to-day basis. Whether we agree or disagree, it does not matter. For those that served our United States of America, we treasure you and we say thank you to each of you. And I appreciate you so, so much. Happy Veterans Day. Hug a veteran if you see one. Thank a veteran if you can. And we'll be back tomorrow for a Wednesday edition. For Jackson Williams, for Ken Weaver back in News Closet B, Matt